Welcome to the show. You are watching the all new Wayne Dupree Podcast, along with the host Wayne Dupree and my beautiful men buddies. No, I'm kidding. But they are good looking. Look at him. Look at him. Just look at him. I know it's lunchtime, but look at him. No, I'm kidding. Let me introduce the Godfather of Conservative Radio, Mr. Hutch Bailey Jr.
Hello, Wayne and Jason. Hello, everybody. Just glad to be here on the brand new Wayne Dupree Show.
And also the baby of the bunch from Muslim Soda. I'm talking about Mr. Jason Robinson.
Hutch Wayne audience, welcome to Taco Tuesday. We got all the spice today. How about that? Taco reference. Oh my God, you still didn't replace the battery in your smoke detector.
You hear that? God.
Yes. Now, we used to have a rule when I was in the corporate world. If you were on a Zoom call and your smoke detector was chirping, you owed everybody a case of beer on the call. So
really? Okay, well,
2 cases.
When I see you, I owe you a case of beer. And yeah, that thing, boy. And especially when that goes off in the middle of the morning for no reason at all. I mean, it scares the bejesus out of everybody, you know. Grassroots. Honestly, I really believe we're the. Sorry about that beep, but y'all keep hearing it through the whole thing.
Sure.
I do believe we're the best grassroots news media coverage around. We've been around for 12 years. Wait, hold on. Because I have to call this out. This is our 1,852nd broadcast since 2012.
Wow.
1,852. I saw somebody who was already at 2,050 something, and I know they started 2 years after me. So I'm like, and I mean, I ain't gonna call them names, Bongino, but I mean, I'm like, how in the heck?
Well, yours sounds about right, because I started a little earlier than you, and I got about 1,400.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, how in the world so that must be like 10-minute productions and 15-minute
probably
productions.
does a short form.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Probably counts tweets.
Yeah, what about Bongino? He called out a bunch of influencers to follow and didn't mention you. What the hell?
Did he really?
Yeah, he had a list of, if you want breakdown of the deep state or whatnot on his Twitter feed. I was gonna send it to you, but I'm like, I didn't want to get Wayne all pissed off on a Tuesday night.
because I'm about to hit that up. So how are y'all guys doing this beautiful day?
Just wonderful watching things play out. A little bit nervous about Europe and NATO sending troops into Ukraine, and God, I hope we stop that.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm with Hutch. It feels like you're in a movie and you're kind of entering that third act of the movie where all the shit hits the fan. You know, you got the financial collapse. I mean, they announced like the stock market's buoyed by some tech stocks, but all the underlying indicators are bad. So you got financial collapse. You got, Putin came out, said, or France came out, wasn't it? And said,
France, they can't even get out of their own way in Niger. And they're
Right.
going to go into Russia? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and then
Nothing against Niger, but you compare Russia against Niger, that's a big comparison difference.
Right. Well, and even NATO guys were like, what's he talking about? Like,
it's crazy, man. You know,
Right.
you couple that with the other major story of the day that's being completely censored by the government media, the farmers in Europe. They are not playing. I don't know if you guys have seen any videos of that lately, But these guys are not playing. They're coming in with front end loaders and blowing the police barriers out. I mean, it's getting real.
Yeah. The other thing too, did you see in Poland? One of our viewers that I chat with on Twitter, he sent me an article this morning. Ukraine's dumping all their grain into Poland and killing the markets. So the farmers went in and like dumped out, just unloaded a bunch of Ukrainian grain on the side of the railroad tracks.
And I'll tell you, that's another ulterior motive for this freaking Ukraine-Russia thing. Our financial people, the BlackRocks and everything, they want that farmland. That's the best farmland in the world besides ours. That farmland, the Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe. That's why their grain is so influential and everything. But there's investors in this country that would go to war to get control of that land.
Well, and it's a story as old as time. You start a conflict, and whoever conquers gets to keep it. And in this case, the big financiers don't even need to fire a shot because they just go in almost like Chinese Belt and Road Initiative. Hey, we're going to fund you to rebuild this stuff, and then we own your property from you when you can't pay it back.
The problem with what's going on right now is if one French soldier dies in a French uniform, that's going to trigger a NATO response.
Yep.
And I wish Trump would have got us out of NATO. You know, the days of the Cold War treaties are over. Right. You know, we need to tear all those things up and start over because they're not conducive to helping us at all. I mean, we're carrying everybody and we don't have any money.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's what's funny is another congressman came out saying, oh, people need to understand the money we're going to send to Ukraine actually goes to U.S. companies and it's U.S. jobs. It's like, A, you're explaining the military industrial complex, and B, that is unsustainable. Taking out debt to make bullets, to send bullets over to Ukraine, and we absorb the debt. It's the dumbest idea ever.
And the worst part about it is it wasn't a congressman. That was Victoria Nuland said that.
Right.
The head person at the state. He might have been the breaking news came from Victoria Nuland. She basically came out and said, like you said, it was good for the economy. It'll create jobs. It's like, lady, get her back to Washington. Get her. She needs to be. They've been there since 2014.
Right.
That's the thing. I mean, this didn't just start, man. This is madness. It really is.
Uh-oh. Wayne looks like he found something.
I had to, man. I mean, because look, and Hutch, and the reason why I keep saying Hutch is because Hutch has been on for a long time. Hutch has seen so many things, and Jason has not been privy to a whole lot of this stuff. But we've had so many people here on the WayneDupreeShow Show over the years. A lot. Not only have they been on the show multiple times, before they even got a podcast, before they even got recognized, before they got a contributorship on Fox News, before they signed to write for these bastardized conservative websites, they were on the WayneDupree Podcast.
Yeah, we had James O'Keefe before anybody knew who he was,
and now James won't even answer a DM from me. I'm like, damn. You know, but Dan was on a few times. We had him on when he was running for office in Maryland a couple of times. You know, it's like, what have we done? Sebastian Gorka told us how many 2-3 times he was going to be on the show.
He blew us off right in front of him.
Right. I mean, at CPAC. He was supposed to sit down with us at CPAC. I mean,
we're sitting there talking to Nigel Farage and John Bolton, who was a good guy at the time, we thought. And he wouldn't even sit down, man. He just walked right past.
I tell you.
That's probably why, because we bring it up. That's probably why they don't want to.
Well, he even unfollowed me on Twitter. Look, listen. And I didn't even want to talk about the guy that followed me and Jay. What's that gay boy's name?
Which one? Oh, Dave Rubin.
Rubin, yeah.
Yeah. How do I get blocked from Dave Rubin?
Being on the WayneDupree Show. The thing is, if you say something if you stand up for yourself, then people get sideways. And that I don't understand. I mean, for years, even though, I mean, Ted Cruz blew us off until we got in contact with a member of the Trump campaign in 2016. And then the next thing you know, Ted Cruz gave us what, an hour or
Yeah.
whatnot.
You should have seen that one. You should have seen that one, Jason. Holy smokes. It was right at the end of an event. I don't even remember where it was.
It was in Ohio, I think.
But there was a bunch of radio booths, and we were one of them.
On the line.
And this dude walked right past us, man.
We were number 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We were number 2. And we were live.
And you got big leagued.
His bodyguard, I guess, stood right in front of our booth.
Yeah.
So that Ted could keep on going.
And then another guy that we were on his network yelled at you over that.
Yeah. Yep. Sure did. And it's like, but these people are recording. We're live. We got, I mean, honestly, that's kind of how we blew up on Live 365 because we had thousands listening to us at that event. And
all I wanted to do was get lunch.
But it's like whenever you have to say, like, for years, it's like, okay, if I say something, people are going to get mad. If I say something, people are going to get mad. So what happens when you don't say anything? You get pushed further and further and further down. Okay. And then you have people say, do you still record? God, yes, I do. I still record. We still record. We haven't stopped. We've been almost to the point of bankruptcy almost, and we're still here. We don't beg people for money. We don't tell you to go to GoFundMe or that new one. We don't tell you to do that. We need it, but we don't tell y'all to do that.
I think we're gonna have to though to get you batteries for your smoke detector, Wayne.
Yeah, that's crazy because
I can't even hear it.
Y'all didn't say nothing all day yesterday. I was like, okay, great, all right, but
I can't hear it.
I bet you. Well, Jason's kind of picking up on that because he's probably used to it. But yeah,
like I say, in the corporate world, we'd hear it and you'd be on these big calls, and it's like, okay, who the hell smoke detectors chirping? It's kind of an inside joke.
If Facebook is buffering for you right now, we also broadcast on other platforms. Okay, Rumble, Getter, Twitter, and also YouTube right now. And later on in the evening, we'll do a rebroadcast and do it on, and we also broadcast on Pill.net. We'll broadcast on Cozy and Cloud Hub and a couple more in the evening so that you'll have that. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like in this so-called movement, which is not moving anywhere, well, as long as President Trump is in charge, yes. But I mean, the movement is moving. If you speak up for yourself, people look down on it. Don't cause waves. Don't.
Like the Tea Party.
Yeah, we have to call out the Democrats, not our side.
You can't talk about Mitch.
Don't. Oh man, you remember that too?
I do. Yeah, I can't stand that guy.
You got told not to talk about Mitch.
Yeah,
Jason, we were laying it out almost every program. We were like, because we were backing Mitch's opponent to beat Mitch, and sooner or later he became governor. But he was trying
Bevlin or something.
Bevin,
like
yeah.
Got 9 kids,
and he was trying to take out Mitch in the Senate. And somebody from Tea Party Network News, I remember we were standing in line because we were doing a state-to-state, meeting people out in the supermarket parking lots and talking and stuff like that. It's great. It was great. We started in Texarkana, ended up in Minnesota. So,
oh wow,
yeah, it was awesome. But it's like we were getting ready to get some food, and they were like, you need to stop. Well, you need to slack off of Mitch. What are you talking about on your podcast? I said, you're listening to my podcast? Is that me?
I don't hear anything.
Oh, somebody's calling in.
It's Carl.
Yeah, you know what? And it is Carl. It was Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yeah, it was Vancouver.
God love Carl. Carl, the charity you're going to give the money to is eaglebrookchurch.com.
Yeah, you want to explain that for a second? Because I think Carl, but and we're gonna get to the news, y'all. I mean, we have so many memories because we've been around for about like 12 years. So we got great war stories for you, and we hope that you're entertained by it. But the person said you need to slack off for talking about Mitch McConnell. I said, why? Because only Mitch McConnell can win that race. I was like, y'all listen to it? Yeah, we listen to you all the time. And this was in Kentucky Kentucky. I was like, the Tea Party Network News listens to, yeah. And y'all keep going hard and hard on Mitch. You know, he's the only one that can win the race.
And look at him now.
I was like, but he's not the best person for it. And that's when we learned that's how the elections go. They don't elect the best person. They elect the one that has been in office that can raise the money, that usually is the incumbent, and that kind of. You know.
I was in line to watch Vice President Cheney at an event, and there was a lady, a congresswoman, standing next to me in line. Melissa Hart was her name. And Pat Toomey, before I knew he was a dud, Pat Toomey was running against Arlen Specter. And I was pushing for Pat Toomey. I couldn't stand Arlen Specter. This lady said, hey, you got to let Arlen go, man. Arlen, he's got the power. He's been in there longest. He's a good guy. He's our guy. I'm like, that's the way the whole government is, man. It's a big game. It's a big fake game.
I was going to say, one of my favorite things to do is go back and watch like wrestling shows from the 70s and 80s and just watch the crowd, because they really think those guys are fighting back then. And it's just fascinating. I mean, these people want to put physical violence on the wrestlers because they really think it's happening.
Yeah.
And then you do the same thing with like Republican politics from the 2000s, and watch any like campaign event, and you see these guys giving speeches and the people in the crowd, oh yes, we're gonna stand up for the Republic. And it's like, you all were selling us out while you were standing up there giving that speech.
Hey, the first couple shows we endorsed Mitt Romney.
Who knew?
That's where we got fooled too.
We should have known better than that.
That's why I'm so pissed now.
Yeah, I am
right.
too.
Yeah, once you see it too, you can't unsee it.
That's why
the big thing we'll give the audience is when you see the corruption, you see like Nancy Pelosi just made this huge stock trade that was an insider stock deal. I can't remember what she bought, but it went up 60% in 2-3 weeks since she bought it. Not a stitch of media coverage. That should be against the law.
I mean, you saw it right there. The most powerful senator in the United States of America waving a Chinese communist flag.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. And when you look at it, you go across the aisle, Mitch is worse than him. Mitch is married to him.
Right. And we talk a lot about China on this show. And for all the awful nations you want to protest, I mean, you want to talk about Israel, Hamas, what China does to its citizens is horrific. And there's some things we can't say because of some of the platforms that we're on. But man, do some research. The Chinese Communist Party is way worse than anything you're seeing in Russia or in many parts of the world. And they're behind a lot of this world conflict. Meanwhile, Chuck Schumer can get out there waving a communist flag and nobody cares.
And if they ever do mention anything, all they mention is the Uyghurs. They don't mention the billions or millions of Chinese, normal Chinese people that are getting persecuted.
Yep.
The idea of the shutdown is back. I'm sure that we're to the possibility that there won't.
I don't know what happened.
Am I okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looked like you were looking for the cat.
No, but the idea is back for the shutdown. And it's like, I think it's to the point when we got to a point as a people like, yeah, go ahead, shut it down. And now people are like, I don't care if you shut it down. I mean, it really doesn't matter. We want you to shut it down, but we know you ain't. We know you're not.
People are losing trust in everything, man.
In everything. Right?
I read an article this morning about this local diner, and the lady, we know her, Selena Zito. She's out there in Pennsylvania somewhere at a diner with her granddaughter, and everybody knows everybody else. They stayed open every day during COVID. Small business is the key to this country. Small local trust. Because I'll tell you what, man, I had a ham dinner on Sunday night with my family and felt fine afterwards. Felt fine. Then last night I had Arby's and I felt like hell all night. I'm beef and cheddar. I mean, I like it, but I'll tell you what, I'm starting to get away from this industrial food, man. I'm telling you, it scares the hell out of me.
The wife and I have started switching that too, where it's more just like chicken breasts, and vegetables and stuff like that. And it's amazing how much better you feel, how much less achy you are, sleeping better.
I even quit buying industrial factory bread.
Oh yeah.
I buy Italian bread that's sliced now. If I got to buy bread every 3 days, so be it. I'm not eating any more of that stuff. It's I don't trust them. Everybody's about money.
When your fresh baked bread lasts 3 days and then you buy bread at the store that lasts 3 weeks.
Right.
Maybe there's something.
Exactly. You look at the ingredients on something from Europe and something from the United States, and there's 20 more ingredients than ours.
Right.
You know what? I have been getting, these ciabatta breads from Costco. And like you said, like in 3 days, they were going bad. I'm like,
that's a good thing.
But I didn't know that though. I didn't know that. So now what I do, I put them in the freezer.
Yeah, my mom used to do that.
I put them in the freezer, and then when I need to take them out, then I take them out. But yeah.
Listen to what my mom used to do. I had 2 brothers, right? We're all within 2 years of each other, 2, 4, 6. So we're all going to school at the same time. She used to make 20 or 30 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and freeze them.
Oh.
And she pulled
Crustables. That's Crustables, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if it thawed by lunchtime.
She could have been a millionaire.
She could. Yeah, she sure could have. Yeah. Yeah. I used to love me some peanut butter and jelly.
Me too.
Jesus.
We were talking about the funding too. I think they are going to shut down the government, but not this round. I think they're going to do it closer to the election. And it's going to be a move where the Republican is intentionally shooting themselves in the foot. Because I think a lot of people, that'll be unpopular. Oh, my God. Wayne showing breasts on the podcast? What?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's bone in. I made it this morning, and I made it for dinner. But yeah,
that'd feed me for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And the rest of the family, because there's 4 of us, but usually they'll cut it in half because the breasts are so big. But I ain't talking about McCain. So
was her back hurt?
What do you say, motorboat? So with the
man, we're 20 minutes in and we got the food content going. Let's go, boys.
Oh my God. No, but I found out because I was like, why in the world is the chicken breast always so dry? Even if you had the skin on it, but why is it so dry? So I was watching because for me, I watch chefs. I don't watch just I do watch regular people, but I watch chefs and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just fry the top for 3 minutes, fry the bottom for 3 minutes, and then stick it in the oven until it comes up to temperature for about 160, 162. Take it out, put a top over it. It raises the temperature up to 165. it's moist. It's just straight up moist, you know. Plus, it also has that seasoning on top that's already been built in. So, yeah, that's how I do it from now on. Yeah. I put the SPG on it. Don't forget to check out WayneDupree.com. And that website is also suppressed and shadow banned, along with the accounts. You know, some people on Twitter have been talking about they've been monetized paused. I don't know if y'all been seeing it. They've been monetized.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that.
And I was like, hell, y'all can have mine. I only make less than $35 a month.
I was gonna say, here's your $20. Have a nice day.
I mean, I have 517,000 followers. I only make $35 a month. Go ahead, take it. I mean, hopefully it buys somebody some McDonald's or something. But some people are like, man, that's bull crap. How in the world do you... Well, I appreciate y'all taking up for me and stuff, but I ain't gonna do nothing about it.
Back to the chicken. There's another good way of getting chicken. You can't make this at your house. Maybe you can. I don't know how to do it. But broasted chicken. Broasted chicken is good. It's a combination of a deep fryer and a pressure cooker. And that's juicy stuff.
Well, that sounds like Royal Farms, because Royal Farms uses a pressure cooker.
There you go. Go try their chicken. I'll bet it's good.
It is good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because the crust is still on there.
Yeah, at the end, they deep fry it. They put it in the pressure cooker, and then at the end, they deep fry it.
Well, Royal Farms has a deep fryer that they pressure cook.
Right.
So it does it at the same time. It's like they put it in the oil, and then they close it down, and then they seal it.
I think there's a step at the end where they just conventionally deep fry it, but I'm not positive. I was reading about it one time, but I have a place over here, and man, I love those wings. Just no sauce on them, just fried wings. Man, oh boy.
There's a chain of gas stations in Minnesota that do the broasted chicken, and it's like out of this world.
What's the name of that?
I can't remember. I was just thinking of it.
I think they have that here too.
Right.
Up by Ohio.
There's like 4 of them in the Twin Cities. They're on the other side of town, so I haven't been there for a while.
Doggone it, I can't remember the name of that place. I think that's it though.
Yeah.
Chester's maybe.
Yes, Chester's. Yep. Yeah, we have Quick Trip up here too, which if you ever get to go to a Quick Trip, giddy up.
The best cheeseburger I ever had was at a truck stop.
They have good cheeseburgers at this place that has Chester's too.
I never forget it.
It's amazing some of the food you can get at these places anymore.
Yeah. Yep. Because I was coming back from Michigan and I was going through Pittsburgh at the time. So I got to sit up front of the bus. But I ate, I mean, it wasn't even a large cheeseburger. It was a thin, light type cheeseburger. But yeah, I mean, the juices and everything kept in there with that white wrapper, the white paper wrapper on there. And there's nothing like eating a trucking cheeseburger sitting in the front of a bus with a big window, driving into Pittsburgh at midnight. When you come out of that tunnel and you see all these lights light up around you.
Jason, it's amazing. You come. I mean, anybody that's ever been here, like a new player on the Steelers or something like that, they always say that because you got to come from the airport, you got to come down through the parkway, and you go through a tunnel. And when you come out of the other side, you can't see anything on the backside of the tunnel because it's a giant mountain. Yeah. But once you cut through it and you get to the other side, this panoramic view just opens up in front of you because the whole city's right there.
Oh, I bet at night
it's all lit up in the rivers and the bridges. Ugh. It's pretty amazing.
It looks like, I mean, look, I'm 55, and that had to have been about maybe 45 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I never forgot it. I mean, it felt like heaven to me for some reason.
Just imagine before 1980. The steel mills would have been on fire down there.
Oh.
Along the rivers, you would have seen glowing buildings and fire shooting up through smokestacks.
I mean, the lights were mostly white. No, they were mostly yellow. They're mostly yellow. It did have some white in it, but it almost looked like daytime. Not really, because it was night, but it was.
It's lit up.
When you come out of that tunnel, and they probably did that for effect, right? When you come out of that tunnel, the edge, you're driving right to it, and you see, wow, there's a lot of lights when you're looking at the end of the tunnel. But when you come on that crescent edge and it opens up like this, is nothing that you've ever seen like that.
Yeah,
nothing.
it'll take your breath away.
Nothing. And I was sitting at the front of a bus, so I got the whole experience. Joe Biden
I do need to clarify one gas station food thing. In the Rumble chat, they were talking about Quick Trip with a Q. That's the bad one from down south. There's actually Quick Trip with a K. It's based out of Wisconsin. And they're mainly Wisconsin, Minnesota, kind of that central area. It's all like really fresh, really delicious food. So you got to watch. There are different Quick Trips. Just saying.
Biden is bringing all of the leaders to the White House. Actually, real quick, the border situation. Trump and Biden are going down to the border this
on
week.
Thursday.
And it's like, okay, Biden was probably going to be eating his applesauce and drinking warm milk until he found out Trump was going down there, and then he changed his mind. Well, it is campaign season, and I just gave 150,000 people debt relief for college. So let me head on down to the border and see what's going on. For me, I'm like, okay.
It's one of the greatest switcheroos they're trying to pull off ever, because for 3.5 years, they've said the border's secure. There's no issue. There's no problem.
Right.
Every single thing. I mean, go back and watch the videos from 2020 through as soon as he was installed as president until the last 90 days. It was, the border's fine. There's a million clips from John Pierre saying that, from Biden saying that. And suddenly it's, nope, the border's screwed and it's the Republicans' fault. And Democrats are falling for it. They're like the most gullible people I've ever seen. It's like, wait a second. I thought 90 days ago you said it wasn't a problem. And then they want that border bill to pass. And it's like, we really don't need 1.8 million people coming in every year. Plus, it puts no limits on kids or people with kids. So you could see 2.5, 3 million people. And, that increases child trafficking. Have a nice day.
Dan Bongino said precisely why I hate putting out lists. Someone always gets their panties in a bunch and starts whining. So I guess I wear panties now.
Hey, at least he saw your tweet.
Well, you had to, because that's how it is. And he also unfollowed me. So
no way.
Yeah, he did.
Well, he didn't give you the block yet.
No, hold on.
Folks, you're witnessing a live Twitter feud. Congratulations.
All right. So with that said, and I could be really devilish too. Oh my God, I could be really devilish, but I'm not. Okay, so moving on to more important things of people that really matter. When you get to what is going on in Congress, oh my God, where'd that go? Okay, let me get that video because y'all need to see that one. But when you get into the situation that we have here in America, especially with these leaders and so-called big giant influencers, y'all really have to grab, how you say, discernment into who you follow and who you share, because the reason why we're in a certain place is because so many people have stuck with the same people for a long period of time, and those people have not turned out to be discussion movers or policy movers. Most of them are just doing it for the money, so you have to be able to grab on to somebody that has legitimate patriotism in their heart and has done something for this country that you can point to and it's like, at least this person has some bona fides, not because they have a podcast, not because they are doing some type of topical cream commercial or something like that. I mean, you need to find somebody that has done something that you could point to, and it's like, at least this person has put their life on the line for the country in a way that they know what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's sad to see people that are like that have those traits go off the rails, go after the 30 pieces of silver, because they can do it too.
I was going to say, follow people that are genuine, even if sometimes they're wrong. Like, I completely will respect somebody, a podcaster, a politician, that might have a bad idea or be wrong, but it's once they get paid off, then that's when it's no longer their opinion. They're saying what they say for advertisers or for whatever. And then that's how corporations control America. We talk about it, on shows. If you say things the regime doesn't like, they do the trickle effect, where all of a sudden your podcast isn't on Spreaker or your ad rate on your website isn't as good. And that's how they squeeze you.
I actually saw a video from the squeaker over there at the Daily Wire, I think. And he was doing a video and he was talking about trannies. And then at the end of the video, he didn't shut the camera off. And he told his producer, hey, cut that part out about the trannies, man. I can't do that.
Oh,
I saw that.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because their advertisers don't like it. I mean, there's only so much you can say. And that particular clip, he went pretty hard.
A video just caught my eye. I got to.
Buonasera, Presidente Biden. Oh, Presidente Biden. President, Mr. President. It's okay?
Are you okay, President?
Ok, tutto a posto. Welcome, benvenuto. No, di nuovo, mamma mia. President, Mr. President, ecco.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Ok, it's okay.
Yeah, very good.
Si sente bene?
Yeah.
Sì.
Thank you.
Thank you, mamma mia.
Thank you very
Ecco.
much. I feel good.
You are welcome. Buonasera. Dove va? Mr. President. Oh, mamma. No, non arriva la metropolitana perché non è la metro. It's not the subway. Non è la metropolitana qui. No.
What's your name?
Con chi parla? Mr. President.
My name is Joe Kennedy.
No, Biden. Lei è Biden. È Biden. Ma con chi parla? Certo, prego. Ecco, se riesce. If you can. No. Sta girando su. No, Mr. President. No, not turn. No. You have to.
Hello, my name is
No,
Joe
ma l'ha già,
Kennedy.
l'ha già salutato. Lasci stare.
That's Italian television.
They've done like 2 or 3 of those now in the
Really?
last week. Yeah.
I think
Here's the thing. Go ahead.
I think the funniest one I saw came from the Trump campaign. They had Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden are freaking shuffling along the tarmac at
Right.
an airport. And they turned it into a Villages commercial. It was freaking funny.
Well, and we talk about it on the show. Folks, the news media, the Democrats, the politicians can act like Joe Biden's right. They can filter it. They can edit the coverage. But watch a Joe Biden press conference. Watch something unfiltered.
And the thing that makes me mad is the RNC, that's all they're spending their money on besides flowers, is
Right.
stuff mocking Joe Biden. Why don't you guys do something that'll help protect the 15 counties that are going to decide the election? Why don't you take all your resources? You don't have to go to every place in the whole country. They proved it in 2020 that 5 states is what you need to steal. So let's stop that steal. Let's go start. I talked about it yesterday. I talked about it in depth last night. There's a way to do it. It's the addresses. It's the addresses, and it's something called quantum, which I know nothing about, but somebody does. And it seems like you can do it almost in real time with a tablet. No algorithms, no charts, no statistics, just addresses. And you don't have to accuse anybody of getting non-franchised or not being able to vote because you're dealing with addresses, not people. You know, you got people, thousands of people that have voted for 20 years from a rehab facility or 20 years from a hospital, you know, or they live in Walmart that doesn't have any bedrooms. You know, it's evidence and it's irrefutable. And you go after the voter registrars. And you say, look, if you send a mail-in ballot to this address, I'm suing you.
Right.
I mean, it worked in Wisconsin.
Did you just say living in Walmart? And
yeah. Oh, I'm serious. People living in bus stops.
Yeah, if you go into the voter rolls, there's been several voting agencies that have done that. And there was one state, there was like 10,000 people registered to addresses that were businesses, empty buildings or empty parking lot or lots, that kind of stuff.
And the rules that they set up, if you die, the only way you can be taken off the rolls is if you don't vote for 8 years.
Right.
You know, it's just ridiculous stuff.
Well, and a lot of that voter roll stuff is really fascinating if you dig into it because they don't update those. Like you sign up, like in Minnesota, you get your license, you do your address, you get dropped in on there. And when you move out, even if you update your address to the new thing, if you don't go in and change your address of your vote, you know, for your voting registration, we still get ballots for like the kids who moved out or
and the Democrats know that. And every one of those people, Jay, in Minneapolis, every one of them voted.
Right.
Every single 100%. One of them.
Yep. Yeah, because when you send these ballots in, you just sign it. They don't do much for signature verification anymore. So
the Democrat Party's been doing this for years. They know every single possible vote in their counties. And when I was talking about counties yesterday, I forgot to say something. When I say counties, I'm talking about the counties where the biggest cities are.
Right.
Like Philadelphia, Minneapolis, Detroit, Chicago, you know, New York. That's where they know every single vote and they just wait and see what they need. And then they throw them out there. But you can stop it. Stop the ballots.
That's what's sad too. In most of those cities, if 70% of the registered Republicans would vote, they would have enough votes to beat the Democrats.
That's right. That's the key thing. You don't have to get rid of all of it. You only got to get rid of a little bit of it. If you look at the numbers in 2020, man, Biden won by a hair. He won by a hair. If we could have eliminated 50,000 across the country of those ballots ever being mailed out, think about it.
Actually, the
RNC is not the answer. The RNC, the list that they have is bogus. It's only 50% accurate. The RNC is a fraud. That's why we're not on anybody's
network. The scary numbers are Trump won his election by about 180,000 votes across. That was how many, if they shifted the other way, would have went to Hillary. And then in 2020, it was 36,680 or something like that. That was all he lost by.
And the only reason he won in 2016 was because he surprised them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They couldn't outrun it. They're like, this is coming. And that's what needs to happen in 2024. When we get down to it, we know the RNC is not going to do what they're supposed to do. We need such an overwhelming number of people voting for President Trump that they just can't. And think last time they had to shut down counting in like 10 spots to push this through.
I'll tell you what, Scott Pressler, get away from the RNC, organize people and go into those 15 counties. You know which counties they are. Ask for money, whatever you need. I'll help you. I swear you got to go out there and research this. This is a doable thing. It's a doable thing. And if we don't get in front of these criminals, they're going to get us again.
Mm-hmm. You know, for those that are sending me messages telling that Dan Bongino is talking about me on his show, I don't care. I don't care. I didn't start it. I've been quiet for years. So let him go.
Yeah, don't let that bother you. Don't.
Yeah, let him go. I mean, if that makes him feel a whole lot better, let him go. But we weren't wrong. We told the truth. So with
now, do we got to watch the Dan Bongino show? Come on.
I don't plan on it.
I ain't got time for it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't plan on it. I said what we said, and I mean, honestly, there's a whole lot more. Believe me, there's a whole lot more. But we have stood the test of time, and we're still here, and we haven't sold out to anybody, and that is a great mark for us. You know, we haven't sold out to anybody, and
I couldn't do it. I wouldn't sound right.
Right.
If I'm sitting there checking myself all the time, I'd be like, you don't want to watch this.
Right.
I just say what I say, man. I don't know.
It's fascinating, actually, because in my previous life, I worked with a lot of influencers helping to monetize their digital traffic. And there's a handful that are like the nicest, greatest guys, like Mayor Stags, and he isn't somebody that monetizes, but
he's cool.
Just a genuine good dude. I did some work with Brandon Gill. Just a really solid, good dude. And then you work with some of these people, and it's like, you are just ridiculous. And like, you're just, you see it, and you see people grifting for money, and it's like, wow. So you really don't have the values you say you do.
I know why. I know why he's mad. It's not because I called him out for
and then he unfollows it.
Yeah, it's because I ended it with, and he's declined to be on the show 3 times. That's why. Sebastian Gorka did the same thing, y'all. So I mean, when that happens, they unfollow you. You know, they have other fish to fry. They have other products to push. And that's just how it is, you know.
That's how we got here.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a video that we, for a year or so, we've been talking about James Comer, haven't we? Mm-hmm. We've been talking about James Comer and how we didn't think. Now, I kept saying he ain't got it. You don't have Biden yet. You don't have him. But many people, like, they pushed his stuff and everything. So now Comer is on Fox News, and Baltimore from Fox Business is kind of laying some questions to him, and looked like he got a little bit angry.
Now they indicted Smirnov. Alexander Smirnov was another whistleblower. A judge denied bail for Smirnov, the former FBI informant, accused now of lying about the Biden business deals in Ukraine. The Department of Justice claims he is a flight risk. Smirnov's lawyers are pushing back, saying that he has shown no signs of wanting to flee. But NBC News is reporting that former U.S. spies warned in 2020 that the Hunter Biden scandal had Russian fingerprints on it, and now they feel vindicated now. So what about this? I mean, I don't know how this all goes down, but Smirnov initially in that FBI document said that a Burisma executive told him, you got to give $5 million to one Biden and $5 million to the other Biden so that we can be protected.
Right.
That they accepted bribe money, and now he's being indicted.
Yeah, well, what troubling to me is Smirnov appears to be, and we never knew the identity of the FBI informant. All we knew, Jim Jordan and I, was that Christopher Wray said that this informant was one of their most trusted, highest paid in the Bureau. They had successfully used this informant to prosecute criminals in the past, and he had been with the Bureau over a decade. So that's what Christopher Wray told Jim Jordan and I about the informant. That's all we knew about the informant. But you look, they've indicted him, and more's coming out about the informant, what role he played for the FBI. The FBI paid him to be a spy in Russia. They indicted him because he was communicating with Russia, but that's what they paid him for over 10 years to do. So I don't know anything about Smirnov, but the circumstances around his indictment, and his rearrest and the changing of the original indictment by Weiss is very concerning, because everything that I've had to do with the FBI has been very suspicious throughout this investigation. The trust level that I have with the FBI is zero, Maria. And look, we're following the money. Smirnoff never was a key part of this investigation, never was a part of the investigation, not because we couldn't.
It was just one more confirmation for you.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You investigate every tip. Charles Grassley brought this tip. Smirnoff said that Burisma paid Hunter Biden $5 million. That's true.
Yeah.
We found that. He said in there that the money was wired through various bank accounts. That's true. So we know that. The part that has never been confirmed is about Joe Biden or not. And look, we're still looking and finding new accounts from Joe Biden every day. At the end of the day, we know the Bidens have taken over $20 million from our adversaries around the world, and they have failed to say one single thing they did to receive that money.
I think
I look at that and I figure mission accomplished, man. That's theater. That whole thing is theater. They're never going to get him. They're never going to bust him. Any guy 2 weeks out of law school could convict the Bidens. It's all Comer wasted 15 minutes to say one thing: follow the money.
That's funny.
That's all you got to do is follow the money.
And
millions of dollars don't just show up.
Right.
We didn't break it down on the show, but this Smirnoff thing is crazy. So the indictment is 76 pages. I know this will shock people. I read it. So here's the story. Smirnoff wasn't a highly thought of FBI informant from 2012 till present. He had done 7 or 8 different investigations that led to charges that were whistleblowing type spy stuff, and it was called out in his indictment. 2020, in 2017, he said, hey, Hunter's meeting with Burisma to the FBI, and Joe wasn't vice president, so they said no problem. Then in 2020, he came back and said, I now have proof that he met with them in 2015 and 16, and he filled out a form. The FBI never investigated the form. And 3 months after they got the form was when that bullcrap Hunter Biden deal was that you remember they threw out where they weren't going to charge him with anything. They still never investigated. But they were going to let him out on all these charges. And then that document sat for 3-4 years, or 3 years. So from 2020 to 23, FBI did no investigation. Somebody leaks it to Grassley, and it doesn't identify where the tip came from. So then Grassley takes this form that is an official whistleblower form, and it's marked it's from a credible whistleblower, whatever they call them, highly
rat.
Right. And then they run with it, and then now that the Republicans are running with it, the FBI investigated and said, oh, you know what? He lied on that form that he couldn't have had these meetings. So, and they're blaming the Republicans. And in this case, I will defend the Republicans. The FBI was the one. They didn't follow up on it. They were going to do a plea deal with Hunter Biden without even investigating or without investigating Joe. They only started to investigate once the Republicans were using it in the impeachment. And everybody's blaming the Republicans instead of the FBI.
And what they do to Smirnoff, they Miles Guo'd him.
Right. Yeah, and Smirnoff, literally, they claim he didn't have any travel documents that put him in Ukraine in 2015-16. But the media reports it like this was the basis of their case, and this isn't. Like the meetings reportedly happen, and there's money going back and forth. The only thing that they charge Smirnoff with is lying, saying he had these meetings in Ukraine because he didn't have travel documents.
And I said before, mission accomplished, because we just wasted 20 minutes on this.
Right.
That's what they want us to do. They want us to deal with this so we're not looking at the war. So we're not looking at the real stuff that's going on. We know, and I know, and the American people know Joe Biden ain't getting impeached.
No, but
it's not going to happen.
But here's my point of that story. holy cow, the FBI is corrupt.
Oh, yeah.
This is bad. I mean, the FBI director and everybody that signed off on not investigating that
I agree.
should go to prison.
Is there anybody in the country that doesn't hate these people yet?
Right?
I mean, hate. These people are like movies growing up, the Gestapo. They're above the law. They're all Democrats. All the leadership is Democrats. The rank and file is just as guilty as the leadership.
Right.
I'm tired of this, man. This is, they locked the guy up just at will.
Right. But I mean, why is our news media not screaming, why did the FBI sit on this for 3 years?
Because they're part of it.
I know. That's what I mean. It's ridiculous.
This is, and that's the, I wasn't getting on you, Jason, but that,
I know.
That's why we gotta watch the rabbit that I said it yesterday. These people are smart. They're good at what they do.
Oh,
they manipulate us into doing what they want us to do.
Right.
You know, I really, if I thought there was a chance of impeachment, I'd be on it, but we know that there's not.
Right.
Mitch McConnell won't vote for an impeachment. John Thune won't, but it's just not going to happen, guys.
I'm just saying, when Trump takes office, every person that touched that document should be removed from the FBI and they should face charges.
I hope he has a plan. I mean, I hope he has.
I hope he does too.
And when I say plan, I don't mean a theory. I mean, I hope he already selected the guys with guns that are going to go in the room and what door they're going to go in and what doors they're going to lock and how they're going to arrest these people in mass. I hope he's got a plan like that.
Right.
And he better, because if he doesn't, it's going to steamroll him again.
Quickly.
Well, and it's kind of like we were talking about the RNC. I mean, you just need to gut it from top to bottom. I mean, these intelligence agencies and the agents, we defend on the ground law enforcement, and we think their leaders are corrupt. But if you are working for the FBI and you see this happening and you don't do anything about it, you're just as complicit as the guy in charge.
You look around the country at these families where these FBI rank and file people go and what they do to these people physically. I mean, I read a story 2 days ago that they were arresting this guy. I think he was a journalist, but I'm not positive. But they're arresting this guy for January 6th, and they made his wife and young 6-month-old or 6-year-old daughter, maybe it was 2-year-old, stand outside in 12-degree weather while they're doing this.
Wow.
And the kid died the next day.
What?
Yeah.
I think she was pregnant and she had a miscarriage.
Whatever it was, somebody died.
Yep.
And it was after one of the rank and file FBI raids that just no mercy, man. Look what they did at Mar-a-Lago. Look what they did to Roger Stone and Peter Navarro. All they had to do was ask those people to come in, and they would have.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to kick the doors down and stand with machine guns at the driveway of Mar-a-Lago while the governor hides under his desk.
But then again, that's not for them. That's for us.
Right.
And the reason why I say that's for us to tell us, y'all said y'all were the silent majority. Remain the silent majority. And I know some people might not accept the way that I'm going to say it, but it's a gangster move to do it like that, because if you go after the leaders, if you watch House of Cards or whatnot, they're talking about cut off the snake's head or whatnot, and then that's basically how the people in DC are working. If you go after the so-called leaders, if you go after the people that are making the big voice discussions and whatnot, if you go after them and you shut them down, then everybody else will fall back. And that should also tell you who they feel is dangerous and who they feel is not. Think about what I'm saying.
Oh, they're terrified
about, and put that to some of the people that we were talking about earlier. If you look at Trump and you look at these, like you said, Roger Stone, Trump, Navarro, Bannon, if you look at them, they're getting in trouble. But if you look at the ones that are not, you got to wonder, like, wait a minute,
Isn't it interesting that they never get taken off of Twitter? They never got taken off of Facebook or YouTube.
No, and
Say the exact same thing I say.
But the reach keeps growing.
Yep.
And I mean, there's something that I had never understood, and maybe and I'll throw this to Jason, but I'd always felt before Elon Musk took over Twitter, there was a great falling away. Maybe it was in 2019 or 2000.
Leading up to the election.
2020, yeah. There's a great falling away. People were being kicked off.
Mm-hmm.
There was one day that I thought that over 100,000 people on the conservative side was removed. It might have been less, but for the most part, a big chunk of people were leaving. But I was looking at other accounts and the numbers were going up. I'm like, if everybody's leaving and your numbers should be falling, how does it keep on going up? I didn't understand that. And I mean, some people out there that have been on stage and in the conservative movement, been on stage and, they speak and stuff, getting 2.4 million followers, 3.5 million followers, and they walk through an airport, nobody know them. Hello, how are you? Got 3.5 million followers here. I don't know that person. It's like, man, something ain't right. But Donald Trump and all the people around him and everything, they're getting swatted. They're getting the FBI knocking on the door. They're getting IRS. They're getting on this. Then you look at the rest. They ain't being touched. You need to start asking questions. And that's not a conspiracy. That's the truth. I'm telling you, that's what's going on, But in our case, we don't really pose a threat to anybody. So that's why we don't get all that.
I'll tell you.
We just get suppressed. Okay?
About your silent majority thing. I think we better pay attention to the creep toward World War III. There might be a time soon that we have to go to the streets. I'm talking about peacefully, but I know January 6th spooked everybody. But if we don't protest us going to war, it's going to be the end of our country.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people saw that, but the head of the UN or head of NATO came out and said, we're going to get Ukraine in NATO. And then Putin came out, and it was in Russian, so assuming the translation's right, and said, if you put Ukraine in NATO, that is a declaration of war. Oh, by the way, we have a bunch of nuclear weapons.
That's what I mean. And you got these psychos in the State Department and CIA that are out there just wanting this so bad. I don't know whether they know something that we don't know, or that they are stuck in the past, which I hope that's what it is. I think that's what it is. But this is untenable, man. This is our military. Here's the thing. There's a couple things going on here. First of all, military recruitment is down by 40,000 something a year. And that is not just because of DEI, and it's not just because of COVID. Right. It's because of what we're teaching our children that America is. Yeah. Our kids are coming out of school and they think we suck. They think all we are is a bunch of slave masters, and all we ever did was kill Indians and kill Africans and kill this and kill that, and we're not worth a damn. That's what these kids feel. You think that you're going to get one of them on the left to join the military, and then you couple that with the people that would have joined the military on the right, and you're making them into the pariah. You're making official army policy against a heterosexual Christian guy, that loves his country. You're calling it white rage. We cannot go to war with Russia. Our military has not fought an army on par with itself since the Korean War. You look at the people we fought, even though we lost a lot of people in Vietnam, we were fighting against people in black pajamas and AKs.
Yep.
Until the North Vietnamese army came down and we left. Iraq, Afghanistan, we're fighting cavemen. We're not fighting people with jets.
Right. It's funny you say that about the people not being in the military and what we're teaching our kids, to give a homework assignment to the viewers. Take your browser, whatever search engine you use, and just type in the word masculinity and hit the search button, and then scroll through the top 3-4 screens worth of things. See how every single reference to masculinity,
Toxic.
it includes the word toxic in front of it. And if you think of that, like masculinity and femininity are core components of humans. And
especially in the military.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
We need feminine women to keep us in line, and they need masculine men to protect them. But it's amazing how culturally, and it was funny. I can't remember why I was looking it up to make sure I spelled it right or something on a website, and I'm like, holy cow! Like everything is toxic masculinity, and masculinity is a good thing, not a bad thing.
I saw a thing this morning before the show that they were trying to say that women like baby girl type guys.
I saw that.
It's like, no, they don't.
I saw that. I was like, where in the hell did that come from?
It's bull.
I was like, baby. Was it again, baby boy?
I guess it was like feminine guys.
Feminine dudes, yeah.
No. As friends.
Yeah, girlfriends.
Yes, yeah. I mean, somebody they can talk on the phone till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning and not feel threatened that they're going to have a pass at them or something like that. Which brings me to.
Are we doing the dating segment? Wayne a date.
Yeah. House of Cards. I was watching some stuff again. I know everything went sideways between Frank and his wife. I watched it again.
What, that Secret Service guy?
No, before that. He had asked her to get 2 votes for him in the House. But she had equipment over in another country, and the State Department wasn't allowed. The State Department was putting sanction on that country, and Frank couldn't do anything. So she went to Remy, who wasn't getting along with Frank, and but Remy said, "Yeah, but you got to kill that bill." So Frank and the president and everybody is hanging around the bill and stuff, and then they saw that they lost by 2, and he was told, "Yeah, your wife told him not to vote for it."
Ooh.
And he went in there and he blasted her. He was like, "Is it hot flashes?" And I mean that just blew everything out. So I was like, that's when everything started going sideways with both of them.
That thing had so many different subplots.
It did. House of Cards, y'all. House of Cards.
Oh, man.
House of Cards.
It's funny because how many people watch that show?
I got to watch it again. I do. I can't. I have to.
It's funny how many people watch that show and still didn't learn that that's what really happens.
I know.
Right?
It's like it all over Hollywood, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember Ozark when they're getting their money and they had to go for those fake voting machines. It's like, dude, they told us right there what they're gonna do.
Yep, sure did.
Well, it's funny. My wife loved the show Madam Secretary, and we watched it. And then if you look at the timing, they were Hollywood was building up the Hillary Clinton campaign because she was Secretary of State too. But they showed all the back end deals, all the shady politicians. And now you tell Democrats, like, yeah, that's how it works. And they're like, what are you talking about? Maybe for those evil Republicans.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, House of Cards will tell you that Republicans ain't no better than Democrats.
That's my point. Politicians are evil. They all are.
I watched West Wing for the first time. I mean, as long as West Wing was on TV, I didn't watch it. And then one day I'm like, I really need something. Because after House of Cards, I was like, I really need something. I need a series because House of Cards took me all the way to the mountain and left me up there. So I started watching, even though I'm a conservative up here. I understood. Oh, as a matter of fact, I got to play this. Even though I'm a conservative up here, I know you can't change me up here. Now, I'm going to hear something on your side that makes sense, and I'll use it, but I'm never going to change what I am up here. So when I watched The West Wing. I was like, oh, that's where POTUS came from.
Yep.
The word before I really didn't know about that until the beginning of, the very first episode. Yeah, we need to do this POTUS. It's like, what's that? Oh, that's President of the United States.
Go ask the SecDef.
Wow, POTUS. Well, I didn't even know about it, but but so many things on these shows. I learned about the whipping the votes. Learned about the shutdown. Learned about the 25th Amendment. I had never really known about but on the show they enacted the 25th Amendment. It has to be in secret. That's the law. It has to be in secret before, and it has to be the leaders, and it has to include Vice President too. I think
the cabinet. Yeah,
it has to include the Vice President. So I was like, wow, all this stuff I'm learning. But again, it can't change. I mean, it's just entertainment too. It is entertainment, but in watching some of this stuff, you're like, how in the world are they getting away with? But they're throwing it right in your face.
Yep.
They get away with it because of the media.
That's right.
I mean, the media's on the take.
Why do you think they shadow ban us?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about that earlier with advertising revenue. CNN knows what they can report on, what they can't report on. And if they don't go down certain paths, they get more ad money. And the ad money isn't from the politicians. It's from the corporations that support those politicians. And those corporations want certain politicians in power. And I mean, we always say always follow the money, but that's just how it goes.
I think I got a little different take on it. I think that when you look at the cable news business and you look at the bundling, CNN doesn't make any money.
Right.
CNN's losing they're losing. The people that watch Dancing with the Stars are funding CNN. CNN, what they do, it's programming.
Right.
CNN, this is just my opinion. I don't think that they're in the business of making money. They're in the business of telling you what somebody is telling them to tell you.
Right. Well, that's what I mean.
And those people are in the government.
Well, yeah, but I think a lot of times it's just indirect too, so that they can't be held accountable. So you're not going to get, even though on the Twitter files you saw some direct communication like take this down, but I think it's just a coordination between the corporations and the politicians, and then they put the pressure on the news agencies saying, yeah, let's not talk about that.
I think a lot of the speech, that what's on the paper that they're reading comes from the CIA.
Oh, 100%.
If you look at I don't know what it stands for. I need to do some research on this. The CAA is an organization that joins the government agencies and the actors and the news people that are in the media. And if you ever do a deep dive, I see Jason's probably doing it already, but if you ever dig into that, it's terrifying. And I'm talking about not just Christine Amanpour. I'm talking about actors.
Yeah, it's actually a big, I had to remember what the name of it is. It's a big talent agency. And Tori Speaks did a really good breakdown of it where she broke, assuming it's her, where she broke down all. So you're a nobody actor and the CIA is confirmed to be part of the management funding of it. And then once you get signed to this agency, you become ascendant. And if you look at their client list, just Google actors, actresses who are members of CIA.
And then take it to the next step and look at the programming.
Right.
Look at what they do at House of Cards and on Ozark and all that. This is all to make you think a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it just came out over the weekend.
It works.
Too.
It does work.
that we were instilling propaganda machines, the CIA was in, I think, 2012 in Ukraine. And I mean, this was from like government reporting. So this was no longer like a conspiracy theory that people thought, but there were documents released through a Freedom of Information Act request that said, yeah, basically in 2012, the CIA set up shop ran disinformation campaigns to overthrow the government
Yeah.
that was pro-Russian.
Remember General Wesley Clark, former commander of NATO forces, is on camera admitting what he did in other countries' elections.
Right.
I mean, it's like, this is out of control, man.
And then you think, oh, they wouldn't do that here, would they?
Yeah.
In 2020, leading up to the election, actually throughout the years, I've been talking about how progressive and socialist and liberal radio stations program their listeners early in the morning, and they use music to do it. Okay, they'll talk bad about they'll talk bad about Republicans. They'll talk bad about Republican presidents, George W. Bush, Donald Trump. They'll talk bad about them while they're playing music in between. They'll play Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and stuff or they'll give you something, a real nice song that you remember, nostalgia pumped up, and then they'll come on and then they talk real bad about the Republican side so that it sticks here. Well, in 2020, I did a little research and started listening to Steve Harvey first thing in the morning because of the music and stuff like that. But then I saw how he was talking about Donald Trump and how he didn't think that Donald Trump should win the election and all that stuff and everything, and how people should vote for Joe Biden. And he was so forceful in slamming Donald Trump during that time. I was like, wow, this is their method.
Yep.
So this morning, while I was cooking, Steve does these final thoughts at the end of his show. And I just say, you know what? Let me record this for the show. And most of y'all are strong-minded and stuff, so this isn't going to affect you, but at least you understand what's happening on the radio. If you don't hear it and you're wondering, how is it that these people don't vote for other people and stuff? Well, let me play this.
Conservatively, I guess I am. I don't share all their views. I don't share all liberal views. I just don't. Some of the liberal views I happen to think are a little bit too liberal. And there are some conservative views that I think is entirely too conservative. So I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't really have a problem with black people being Republicans. That's your right to have conservative views. That's your right. And I'm okay with that. The problem I have with you is not your views. It's your choice of candidate to carry your views as the torchbearer. That's the problem I have. See, I have a problem with some Democrats. Just because you're a Democrat don't make you my guy.
Real quick.
That's good. That is a good sign.
Real quick.
They're scared.
And the more I kept listening, I was like, you know what? He wasn't included in something that Donald Trump had, or maybe he was treated the wrong way, or maybe he didn't get the invite to a special party for him to come out there because he's been with Donald Trump. He's been at Maryland. He knows Donald Trump that way, especially in New York. But and for him to do this, I was like, there's got to be
do some things that's not right as a Democrat, then I'm not really going to vote for you. I don't understand how you collectively come to the point of deciding as a Republican Party that this is the candidate, unless, and this is where I think the problem really lies. You like people and you choose to vote for people who are like you. Now, that's the scary part. That you as a black person, you as an African American, can have the same views as Donald Trump. Do you even understand who this man
See how
really
hateful
is? Do
that
you
is?
understand his background? Do you understand the reason?
And that
he
music
doesn't
in the
make it
background?
is because he's never
Exactly.
been a great servant. What made Barack Obama so great was he was a servant first.
He sucked.
What makes a lot of people great
wasn't
is they
great.
are most great leaders have been great servants before because you understand the needs of the people. Donald Trump has never had a poor day in his life. He's
Good
never
for
had
him.
a day where he's ever had to understand the downtrodden. He's never had to understand a day of what it's like not to have rights. He has never spent a day being oppressed. We as black people
Neither have you,
live
Steve.
that existence every single day.
Get the-
And then you turn around and will cast your vote for a person who knows nothing of that and is not even sensitive to your issues.
That's what's playing.
I don't. People can't buy that though.
They do.
Uh,
And you know
uh,
what? And you know what? And it's really not. Well, actually, it is what he says, but it's the way that you said it. It's in line with the music that's playing. There's a programming that goes along with it.
Oh no, I got that.
You know, it's a military programming. And when you say, well, people can't think like that, they probably don't until they get a long, many days of this every morning for 3 hours. This is happening, you know, for 3 hours, 5 days a week, 6 days if you want to count it.
I think the difference this time though, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to be, it's apparently that people are figuring it out. I mean, you see the people in the Bronx, they see these people. They know that Joe Biden's not going to help them with these illegal invaders. He's proven it every day. I think I think that's a desperation move. I do. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just, it seems to me like somebody came up to Steve and said, man, you got to lay it on heavy.
He was
And
doing the same thing in 2020. Go.
I was going to say, at risk of being accused of being called racist, Joy Reid went to Harvard. Barack Obama went to, what wasn't it, Harvard or Yale?
Harvard and Yale, I think. Law school.
Steve Harvey, it was funny while we were playing that, I just Googled. He grew up in an upper middle class
Of course.
community in Cleveland and went to Kent State University. Why is it all these highly influential black folks are all the things they claim that they can't have and that blacks are denied and all that? They're just puppets of the regime.
And they pee on people like Ben Carson and Clarence Thomas and real great people.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas has an amazing backstory.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he was poor.
Right.
Yeah.
He was poor.
You know, and Steve has been caught out for the last couple of months or month and a half for stealing jokes. So you know, he's looked past that and has gone after Donald Trump now to get off of that topic. Because if you look back at some of the stuff, it's like, you know, you did lift some people's jokes. You did. I mean, that you know, that's just how it is. But yeah, you did lift your story. But it's not just that too. Joy Reid came out and was talking about people need to stop having children.
She's a hateful person, man.
She is hateful.
Oh, we should play that video tomorrow. That was the most
I will.
unhinged thing I've ever seen.
And to me, the way I looked at her, and it was the way I looked at her, I was like, this is one of those people that don't have any friends outside of work. She just has work friends. You know, she goes home, she's lonely. She opens up her Haagen-Dazs ice cream, sits on the couch, and the only calls that she gets is from her job. Is people from her job. She don't know anybody. So
Can you imagine being that miserable?
No, I can't.
You know, another thing, I was going to use it for final thoughts, but it's that time almost anyway. Did you see the letter that they sent to Don Jr.'s house with that powder in it?
Whoa, yeah.
Oh my God, these people are filled with the devil, man. They're just hateful. The left is just so freaking hateful. They've got to, I'm surprised there isn't a mass suicide among these people.
Well, there was that one guy that lit himself on fire.
Yeah. And and you could take that to the lower standards of the military. He was a confirmed anarchist. He should have never got out of the MEP station.
Yep.
I remember the MEP station.
I do too. That damn flashlight. Remember that flashlight?
Yeah, I remember that.
Common bond we all share.
Oh my God, that MEP station. Yeah. We got to get ready to go though. We got to get ready to go. We were supposed to have our lawyer coming on today. He is in court, as a matter of fact, but he will be on next week. So
Giddy up.
I'm trying to get Peter Schweitzer on. You brought up his book,
Blood Money.
Blood Money.
Yeah.
So he responded to me earlier this morning, and we're trying to get something set up to have him on the show. But thank you, Peter, for being accommodating and doing that. But with that said, we broadcast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 12 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been here for about 12 years. We continue to give you the best research possible without doing a whole lot of gaslighting and whatnot. We try to inform you, educate you about things that are pertinent to your journey and how you can use that in trying to help make America great. Okay. Rarely do we get on here and give you false hope and say such and such is going to happen. So we hope that the certain things happen, but we also try to bring you back to reality. And we want y'all to be now again, we're not how do you say it? We want you to fact check us too. Don't just listen to our opinions. We get it wrong too. And if so, contact us, let us know so we can block you. But I don't play it.
Oh yeah.
I know, yeah. Like Carl. But Carl didn't leave a message, by the way. He just called. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why.
I think he thinks it's like your personal number, Wayne. And he's like, I'm going to get to talk to Wayne this time. I'm going to get to talk to Wayne.
That ain't happening, homie. But yeah, you know what? Well, we'll talk about it tomorrow. We got to go. Let me get some last thoughts from both J. Rob and Hutch. And we will see you hump day tomorrow.
Excellent. Hey, Wayne, Hutch, excellent show as always. And shout out to people on Rumble. The chat station today was hopping over there.
Yeah, it was nice.
And while watch on the platform you like, personally I like Rumble. They're the least technologically to work with. They're the hardest, but they don't suppress speech, so we love that. And then my last thought of the day, folks, there are a lot of people that have been fooled for a long time out there that are starting to connect dots. And they're starting to say things like, why the hell are they shutting down Trump's business? Why are they charging him with 91 felonies and none of these other politicians are? People are waking up. Help them continue to wake up.
Yeah, I agree with that. Something else. We were here before Trump.
Sure were.
We were here with Andrew Breitbart.
Yep.
Right. I'm not in this for Hollywood fame or anything like that. I'm just a regular dude. And I'm looking at this, and I'm an opinionated person. So, like Wayne says, fact check us. I'm not sitting here. I'm not an FBI agent going through all the, the facts and figures and everything like that. I'm reporting what I feel,
right,
and with a little bit of background information. Mm-hmm. That being said, you saw that the Americans for Prosperity and the big donors pulled away from Nikki Haley. Don't think they're gone. They went to the Senate and they went to the House of Representatives.
Oh, right.
Right after that happened, John Thune, the soon-to-be leader of the Senate, Republican leader of the Senate, the number 2 guy in the Senate, suspiciously right after that happened, endorsed President Trump.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry.
Be careful, POTUS.
Y'all have a great evening. God bless.